Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton. With Logan Lucky having hit theaters this past weekend, we're taking a look at our top 5 heist movies. But first, Tim, you're looking rather rested. What's happened?
I'm looking rested?
Rested, yeah.
I feel not rested at all. I have spent this week moving. I now live in a different apartment than I did the last time.
In Madison.
Podcast. Still in the
Madison.
great city of Madison in the great state of Wisconsin.
You got kicked out of your last place? Is that what happened?
You set one oven on fire and apparently get blackballed, and these things happen.
It had to have been something else. I've set many apartments on fire and I've never been kicked out.
Well, no, it was actually just I did not care for my landlord, and I'm paying a little bit less, and way better apartment. So I do feel better rested. I have a much nicer bedroom now.
Will we get a chance to see it?
It's larger than my bed, which it didn't used to be.
Not your bedroom. I was actually asking to get a chance to see your apartment. But
you can see my bedroom anytime you want.
Awesome. Open invitation there.
Oh, walk out. I'm leaving right now.
No, I'm not inviting you.
Okay, I know. I can tell.
I think
sense that.
I'll probably speak for all of us. I know in your place in Chicago when we did visit there, we had the bad movie nights.
It was tidy.
Good movie nights. It was not just the tidiness, but I know you had like a black wall painted screening. You had a proper screening area. What are things looking like these days?
I no longer paint rental properties because it seems a little presumptuous. I have a very, very fetching viewing area in the living room. I think it's going to work out well.
Very
dark?
Nice.
Does it have to have any special requirements?
It should be darker than it is.
Okay.
I wish it were darker, but
Can't have it all, Tim.
Can't have it all.
Can't have it all.
One day I will own, and I will have a beautiful screening room, much like you guys have.
We need to paint ours darker too. Ours is yellow. That's not the right color for a screening room.
Exact wrong color.
It is the exact wrong.
But it's no windows.
That's right.
So it's in the basement, so it doesn't let a lot of light in.
That's right.
But I do want to just assure everybody that now that the move is done, review should pick up again. I'm sure you've noticed we have been a little bit below schedule the past few days. So.
You've had like 3 or 4.
Something like that, but it should have been like 7 or 10.
I can't even keep up with reading them.
Well, do.
Okay.
Your job is to read my reviews.
I'm going to do that right after this episode.
And Kara, I know you've had a rather heavy heart the last couple weeks. What's been
going
on?
Oh, you're right. I meant to bring this up last week. Tim, I don't know if you know this. Somebody got divorced. Do you know in pop culture? Who? No?
No.
You don't keep up with this? Chris Pratt and Anna Faris got divorced.
Oh.
Did you guys know that?
I think I recall it showing up in some sort of hashtag
Are
scenario.
you, by your statement, I'm assuming this didn't devastate you?
No.
Rob, did this devastate you?
I was not impacted by this. I don't feel like the relationship was of the status like cute. I think each of them as individuals are really interesting, but I've never seen a lot in social media about them as a couple doing not as much as like the Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Like that is like the couple and
different.
Angelina and Brad Pitt, like those.
They broke
those
up,
two.
Rob.
No, I know they did too,
okay.
but I was saying like those were more like the Ryan Reynolds Blake Lively, if they were ever to break up, that would have more of an impact.
I always forget that they're a couple until someone says it in front of me. At least I knew that Anna Faris and Chris Pratt were a couple.
8 years. It's the same as Rob and I. So I feel like it had a special impact.
You guys are due to get a divorce.
Yeah, So
I don't even know who to call dibs on. Jesus.
What is it about? What is it about this that has like taken the world by storm and has, like, from your perspective? Because it's not me. Like I can't relate.
They are both very adorable people.
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's part of it, and I feel like everybody feels as though that could be them. Like their marriage feels like it could be anybody else's marriage.
You know what celebrity breakup made? Not that I'm married, but made me feel that level of like, oh my god, if they couldn't make it happen.
Let me guess. Rachel and Brad Pitt.
No, it was Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
When they split up.
Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins?
Yeah.
I think they ever married? They were
never
dating.
married, but they were like a common law couple for like 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Like that. And like 3 or 4 years ago, they split up, and that devastated me.
Thanks a lot, Tim. I didn't even know about that one.
I do.
Yeah, this one I think bugs me too, because I think you see them in social media. So I actually follow them on social media, Instagram, Facebook, the works. And they're so lovey. Like, it's always like, he's my hero. He inspires me. He's the best dad and whatever. And they're always so lovey. And so it just feels like this sham. So after it happened, I had this revelation. And I was like, maybe, I think it's all of these marriages where they go out there and they're like not telling the truth. Those are the ones that fail. That's my new theory.
You know what I think it was? I remember when Pratt lost all that weight for Jurassic World, Anna Faris was talking about how she liked him better when he was fat.
I
And I wonder
know.
if she just couldn't get over the fact that he wasn't fat anymore.
Well, that and they've had
because if that's the case, I have a shot.
they had opposite trajectories. Like she was certainly more of the power person in the relationship early on, and then he started getting these leading roles, starting with I think Guardians. I don't know if I mean, he started picking his career started picking up while hers was kind of on the downward spiral. That's got to weigh on a relationship as well too.
That's the plot of A Star Is Born. Like all 5 times they made it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think the relationships that impacted me the most was Rose McGowan and Marilyn Manson separating. Like that was hard. I took that one.
I don't even know who those people are.
Woody Allen and Mia Farrow. That one got me.
Well, that one at least resulted in like some seriously great art, though.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the recovery from it, but I promise to you, Rob, that I will publicly say that I find you very annoying. And a lot of times you bother me, and that's why I hope.
Well, we're really just keeping it together for the show.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, 40% of the time I want to chop my ears off when you're talking, and I think that's what'll hold us together.
Well, we'll keep holding it together for our worth mentioning segment as well too. Let's talk some movies. What is the worth mentioning segment of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We talk about them either way. Care, how many movies have you seen since the last episode?
3.
Nice.
What about you?
I've seen 4.
You saw one without me?
2 are off limits because they were. We actually reached out to our fan base, our audience base. A fan base seems strange to call it that. Our audience base
to our users,
our friends of the show, and we were a little. We want to make sure we weren't missing some of these heist movies. We're obviously talking heist movies, so we asked them. Of The Sting, Heat, Fish Called Wanda, The Killing, Dog Day Afternoon, and Reservoir Dogs, which one should we see?
All of them? Have you seriously not seen any of those 6 movies?
No.
What the fuck is that?
No, I'm okay. I've seen 3 out of the 5.
What would you have picked him?
Of those?
Of those. Sorry, of the 6. I've seen 3.
The Sting and The Killing, probably.
We did half them. The audience ended up picking Fish Called Wanda. Actually came in first, and then The Sting second. We actually ended up taking in.
We watched both.
We watched both of those. Along with Madagascar, I saw, and Madagascar 2.
Oh, you watched 1 and 2?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Madagascar Escape to Africa.
Yeah.
So
there is no film called Madagascar 2.
That's true.
Madagascar Escape to Africa was on your top 5 animated sequels, right?
No.
Hell no, probably.
Oh, good. Because
I will say, I think the Madagascar franchise improves with each new title to the point that Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, doesn't suck.
I disagree. I think it's going to be terrible. I saw Madagascar 2 earlier today with our kids. It was horrifyingly awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh, I'm not saying it's good.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying I like it better than Madagascar 1.
I didn't get the humor for me. Who makes this thing?
DreamWorks.
Okay. Same people that do Toy Story, right?
Nope.
No, that's Pixar.
Same people that do the Shreks and...
Yes.
Same people that did Shark Tale, which I feel is probably the best point of comparison to Madagascar's.
I felt very Shrek on this one. It was really bad. I didn't like the story. It was really vulgar for kids. I would not recommend this for people with kids. There were a lot of jokes that were off color that I thought like, I don't know. Rob and I were looking at each other across the room like, please don't get that. Like,
yeah, I was getting the daggers from Carrie because I selected it. One wasn't the worst, but 2 was pretty. Back to Africa was pretty bad.
Back to Africa, not great.
Pretty bad. So
highly don't recommend seeing this movie with your children for this week,
or without them,
don't just
engage
ever
with the Madagascar.
Never watch.
But seriously, you guys, 3 is actually kind of worth it.
It's worth going back to.
It had probably again maybe not with your kids. It's hard to say, but it has a really great. The villain is this crazy French parody played by Frances McDormand, and she's actually pretty delightful.
Nice. Well, willing to take another chance on it?
No,
you're done.
No, I'm done. But
okay.
Rob will be your guinea pig. Yeah,
it'll be in secret with the kids.
So what did you see?
I moved, y'all.
Oh right, you saw
I have watched a few things. I don't know. I rewatched the pilot episode of Samurai Jack last night to I was trying to unwind, and I had about 40 minutes, so that was not enough for a movie. And it had been a few years, and Samurai Jack's really damn good.
So good.
You know, it's got this really good training montage. And as we were talking just last week about Genndy Tartakovsky, he has a really good sense of style. But in terms of movies, I just haven't seen that much. And most of what I've seen has gotten
What about Dolls?
I did see Dolls, which is a very, fun and surprisingly good for its budget 80s horror film about killer dolls. And it's this very violent R-rated movie that feels like a kid's fairy tale. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic there. Honestly, I think I would recommend showing this to your children before I would recommend showing them Madagascar or any of its sequels.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so it's a Stuart Gordon film from 1987. Stuart Gordon, who is from Wisconsin, went to school here in Madison, in fact. We have his papers at our archive. And yeah, I think that it is as good as the low-budget killer doll genre is likely to get.
Yeah.
And certainly has a really fun, sort of
Is it Chucky-esque?
It is not Chucky-esque. It is much more... It's very Grimm's fairy tale. I know I keep returning to that, but that's really what it feels like.
But do you recommend people would like it? Is it good?
You have to like horror to get... I think it would not convince somebody to like cheap horror, but I think if you like cheap horror to begin with, it would definitely be
There's people out there.
There's people out there. There's lots of them.
What do you do to unwind from movie watching? Do you feel like you ever need to take a step out? You said some Samurai Jack. What else do you do to kind of to clear your palate?
I drink
animated shorts.
wine.
You drink wine?
You watch shorts, don't you?
I do sometimes watch shorts.
Yeah, I can see that. YouTube videos?
Not so much YouTube videos.
No.
Unless it's a short that I can't find anywhere besides on YouTube.
Yeah, I can see that.
Speaking of animated shorts, I just want to spit out one piece of news. Don Hertzfeldt is working on a sequel to World of Tomorrow, which I don't know if you guys know World of Tomorrow. 17-minute film from 2015. One of the best films of 2015. This amazing animated sci-fi film about surviving the end of the world and personality and such like that.
Huh. It's good.
Really, really good.
Have you heard of it, Rob?
It sounds familiar, but I think I'm confusing it a little bit with the Angelina Jolie, some sort of where they...
Salt.
Tomb Raider?
No, not Salt, not Tomb Raider. No. Something World of Tomorrow, but maybe I'm confusing with
Sky Captain and the World
Sky
of
Captain
Tomorrow.
and the World. That's what I'm confusing it with. Yes.
Different movie.
Yeah, okay. Was Angelina Jolie in that?
She is in a small role in it.
Okay.
It's mostly
See, Rob? You got
Gwyneth
it.
Paltrow and whoever plays Sky Captain. It's an actor of note, but I can't think of who it is.
Thanks for pulling that out of nowhere, Tim. I appreciate you. That's what I was confusing it with. So not that.
No,
Okay.
This is far better.
Okay.
It's that Jude Law. It's Jude Law.
Jude Law.
Oh, you're a lookalike, Rob. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Look at the receding hairline.
Receding hairline?
Look at do this. Do the look,
Okay.
Rob. Rob has a face.
Well, then take the glasses
Do it to the
off.
side. Turn your head to the side.
You do not.
No.
No, I'm
A little
sorry.
bit.
No.
Oh, I think so. So did you see any? What was your fourth movie that you saw? Oh, the other Madagascar movie.
Madagascars, yeah.
Are you going to talk about anything, or are we going to jump into?
Let's
episode.
we'll get into the episode in a little bit. Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Big news on the Patreon front. Want to call this out. Now that Tim has some semblance of life back from your 173.
So the cancer reviews are done, so we can start to move into the next phase of reviews by
He wasn't
request.
reviewing Cancer.
I was reviewing. I have in fact reviewed Cancer.
You have
I have positively compared Cancer to Fantastic Four 2.
Okay, so 172 reviews not reviewing Cancer.
Correct. Reviewing movies.
Reviewing movies, but you were gathering money
to
give to
pay off Cancer.
To go away.
It would take its goons and leave us alone.
Just so it's clear. Okay.
So that's done. And we now have a new you can pay Tim to review movies function. It's actually been on the site, but now we're actually going to start reviewing the movies. So if you click over on our Patreon, you'll see a whole bunch of different rewards. And Rob, I don't have that in front of me, but I believe you do.
Oh yeah, and we haven't if you've looked before, the pricing structure we're changing because now that Tim actually has some time, we've recapped everything and figured out a way to make it a little easier to get reviews and get some of the things that we do. So you can make Tim watch, Tim write a review. You can pick your own episode topic. You can have Carrie and I watch a movie. You can just get a shout out on the podcast as well too. So a lot of different options. If you visited there before, check it out again. We've lowered the price on those things now that Tim has a little bit more time to get to those things. We don't have to price it so high, so it's prohibitive.
Tim was like, I actually don't want that on there. I have to fit finish these ACS
that
reviews.
That was kind of the thing. Like I was trying specifically to make it undesirable until the cancer fundraiser.
People
did it.
People did it.
So we do have a few. I will say right here and right now, Friday is now Patreon review day. So those of you who have donated, starting this coming Friday, you will start to see those reviews pop up. Those of you who intend to review, it will show up on a Friday, one per Friday.
And for those who have already subscribed to, we appreciate the advanced subscriptions to the Patreon. And as a perk for being an advanced subscriber, you're actually going to double up on your rewards too. So you're going to be getting 2 for the price of 1.
What does that mean?
As being an early subscriber. So if you had Tim write a review, now he's going to write 2 reviews for you. If you had us watch a movie, then now it's 2 movies.
That's the early adopter thing.
Yeah, early adopter perk there as well too. So appreciate all of the Patreons who've subscribed so far, and those who will be subscribing in the future.
Yeah, and one other thing, part of the reason we were waiting until now to do the Patreon rollout, we have been trying our very best to get that index. If you click on the site where it says reviews, it takes you to the alphabetical review index, and officially every title on that index is accurate. There is only 1 listing per movie, and there is only 1 movie title per title.
We think.
If you do catch errors, please email us. Don't comment on the page. Please email us. But we think it's right. So the index is now totally usable, and there will be more bells and whistles added to it. I know people have been asking me if I'm going to break out like Disney reviews again, and we're going to do that kind of stuff. But for right now, the index is finally done, you guys.
That's
so
like a really big moment.
Yeah,
this is
good,
a lot of
good
late
job,
nights.
everyone.
Good
really,
job.
I was holding us up.
I'm going to have that third glass of wine now
we'll
just to celebrate. Yeah.
If you do find something wrong, it's probably within Carrie's letter section that she
If you find anything from G to H, or wait, what was I? H to K? I think
I
started with Harry Potter. Harry Potter was the worst
H
to get
through
through.
L, but I ended up doing L.
Tim ended up doing like all of mine.
I did like half of
So
Rob's,
I did L, but everything was right. So you just got to it before me, I think, is what happened. I felt good about L. But yeah, so email me privately if you find anything between those letters, because I worked hard on those.
Yeah, we're really excited because now it really allows us to be able to do other things on the site that we've been meaning to get to. But we wanted to make sure that was right for everybody too before we move forward with any other changes.
And so now your Patreon donations or PayPal or Amazon bonuses will go to fixing the site, because now that we've got the index done, fixing the site becomes the job.
No, that's a good point, Tim. If you're not a fan of that monthly approach to doing the Patreon, no worries. We also will be launching. We're looking to launch a one-time payment option through PayPal as well for those who prefer that option. Also, want to thank all our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing is easy. Just go to our website, alternating.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here are the things that were purchased. Had some beauty products purchased, 30-piece gold ring shell hands leaf star pendant rings, hair clips.
Okay.
Right.
So we misplace our girls' hair clips all the time.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have the 30. We could use a bulk purchase of those.
Bulk 30-pack, yeah.
Well, you should buy one, and you should buy it through us.
Yes, you should. And also, I think people are getting ready for the school season, maybe film school as well. Here, we have some books purchased, Movie Censorship and American Culture. I should probably just ask if these are all yours, Tim.
I have bought 0 books.
Someone else
in the cinephilia.
So here, Tim, have you read Film Theory reader Debates and Arguments?
I have not read that.
The New Censors, Movies and the Culture Wars, Culture and the Moving Image.
I have not read that.
Film Theory, an Introduction.
That is a very generic title. I might have read it.
The Theory Toolbox, Critical Concepts for the
Someone is taking an Introduction to Theory class is what somebody's taking.
That's right.
Why,
poor bastard.
Probably one of your students, yeah.
I appreciate you buying all those expensive textbooks through us, so thank you so much. Means the world. Kitchen and Housewares also at the OXO. I don't know if it's OXO or...
It's OXO.
It is OXO, okay.
Yeah.
Good grips, we're big OXO fans.
Love the grips,
3-piece funnel and strainer set.
You need that.
Yes, I just got an OXO dish strainer, not through Amazon, sadly. It was from Costco, but it's real nice.
Nice. Also had some, pets can get a little stinky. Arm & Hammer Pet Fresh Carpet Odor Eliminator. Need that. Get the odor out of the carpet.
It's not just pets.
Also had a watch purchase. I feel like with all the, I'm wearing my Apple Watch right now too. It's like the old school watches are kind of are back in now. People are getting more of those.
I think it's because people are afraid that Apple Watches will take over their body and turn them into drones.
I think so too.
Possibility. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to give myself
Now that I
over.
realize you're wearing an Apple Watch, I will be staring at you constantly just on the off chance that you're going to try to pod people me.
I think he will.
We had an original grain men's whiskey barrel wood. So made out of whiskey barrel wood wristwatch and brushed with espresso steel band.
I don't even wear. It makes me very thirsty because it's whiskey and espresso.
I have Canadian Club upstairs if you want
All
some.
right.
Yeah.
On the break.
And then lastly, we actually had some of those free channel trials on Amazon purchase. Those really help us out a lot, along with an Audible trial purchase. Those things really boost.
Have you done
boost us
Audible
up.
before? Have we talked about this?
I bought a book
I've
on
done
Audible. I've never actually listened to it.
I've
It was
done
on
it.
leadership. I don't know anything about leadership.
Have you
I figured,
done Audible,
why waste my
Tim?
time?
I don't know what Audible is.
Okay, let me tell you about Audible briefly. So Audible, it's that you buy books and they read them to you, kind of like a podcast.
Do they sit in your room?
They come to your
So
home.
They give
yeah,
you a massage.
if you
as
pay
well.
extra, they do that.
All right.
And so I did it once because I was just like, I have to get through one book a month for book club, and I just was not. I was failing every time, and I was becoming that book club person, where it's like, Carrie, you didn't read the book. Psh, yeah, and it was like you forgot to read Girl on the Train, and I was like, couldn't make it through the 147 pages, and so I ended up doing Audible once, and. Yeah, they read the entire book. It's great and it's efficient because it's kind of like a podcast. The downside too is like you end up with this really formal British man who, if you're reading like a smutty book like I usually do, it's like he rubbed her. All right, that was a really bad British accent. Sorry, what's that? He rubbed her breast. No wait.
That's almost a shitty Irish accent.
That was, I don't know what accent that was, but it's in an accent and they'll like say these vulgar things and you're like, I am uncomfortable right now listening to you.
Can you request the voice, or does it have to be a prim British man?
I have it. I think it's just
like,
prim
if
British
it's like-
men.
If it's like one of those mods for a GPS where you can have like
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger reading
That would
like
be
Pride
better.
and Prejudice, I would
Yeah.
be 1,000% on board with that.
I'm looking into this because I unsubscribed. I'm resubscribing to see if I can get Arnold.
How my life would be different had school textbooks or school books. I know they were available on tape, possibly. I just didn't know about that. I would have certainly listened. But had I known, like, if I had to read The Scarlet Letter or something
Sure.
like that, just listen to it on tape or
You
watch
could have, like,
the
a
Demi
sexy
Moore movie.
voice.
Yeah,
Or watched the Demi Moore movie.
yeah.
which is
Either way,
yes.
Either is fine.
would have been fine. Thanks y'all for your purchases. When we get back, our top 5 heists. Welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 heists. Heists is nice.
What is that from
No,
a movie?
what?
It's chappy, guys.
Is it?
Yeah, chappy.
Chappy is...
Heist is nice.
Chappie who?
Okay.
Chappie, the Short Circuit ripoff
The
with
movie
Sharlto
about
Copley.
the heartwarming tale of a robot who ends up in a gang war in South Africa, and people die, and it's very sweet.
It sounds good.
Hugh Jackman is a villain.
Sounds
It's good
good.
stuff.
Jackman is a villain.
So
Never reference that movie again.
off topic. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I've
sorry.
taken us off. How did you all do your research? Care, what did you do for top 5 heists?
I just used my heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
followed
I
your
love
heart.
heist movies.
What is a heist movie to you? You love it so much.
Is, let me tell you, Rob, what a heist movie is. It has to be one or more people who go on a mission to lift something from somebody else.
To just lift something?
Yep.
So like the story of an intrepid team of movers hoisting a couch off of the floor.
That meets the criteria.
I think you've
Yeah.
confused heist with hoist. They're hoisting
Heist.
hoisting things off the
They're
ground.
hoisting.
Top 5 hoists.
To have hoists or heists also work in this case, but you can't hoist something from somebody who doesn't want it to be hoisted. And that's what makes it a heist movie, right?
Yes.
Does this align with everybody else's criteria?
Not at all for me. What about you, Tim?
It's a slightly more tortured way of my own criteria. For me, a heist movie has to be criminal. So I feel
Sure,
like
that's
you
what
and
I said. That's the second part. You don't want it hoisted from
by
you.
By definition, there has to be a theft.
Yep.
Whatever else is true of it, thievery is involved. For me, it involves a plan. Like a movie in which someone just goes out and steals shit is not a heist movie. It's a crime drama.
Okay, interesting.
There has to be some element of we need to have a scheme for how we're going to make this theft happen. So we either see the planning or the execution or ideally both.
Okay.
That to me is a heist movie.
Tim and I are very much aligned except for one element, and maybe you just left this part off. For me, I need an ensemble.
I think by definition, if it has a plan, it almost certainly does. The
Doesn't
one
have to,
exception
though.
that I think might potentially trouble that, we'll talk about it.
Well, and
It's on
I'm
this
curious
list.
too. So when I say ensemble, how many people does that represent for you?
17.
17
people. For me, that's just the one.
I needed 3 or more individuals.
I would
to
say
take-
3 is an ensemble.
By
Okay.
definition, a heist does not have to have 3 or more people.
No, I'm saying these are my parameters for narrowing
Okay, I'm
down
just
my
going, like,
picks.
And that
real
being the case,
definition.
I will say that not all of my films are ensemble based.
Okay.
As it turns out.
So here's a thing that tripped me up as I was looking at movies that were potentials for this is the main characters have to be part of the heist, and not where the bad guy is trying to steal something.
No, we are the protagonists are the thieves.
Okay,
for sure.
That's with me as well too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then I concur with you. Heist has to be the focus of the movie, and there has to be the planning, scheming element, which is like that's
the fun
quintessential.
of it. That's
the
what
whole.
makes a heist delightful. It's one of my favorite genres.
Mine
And
too.
So we agree on this. And for me, that's what's fun about it. It's seeing the brain work go into it.
Here, I
Yeah.
feel like yours is so broad.
It's
so
not.
broad.
It's not broad. It's very specific. Once you get into my list.
Okay.
Is this one of your favorite genres?
This is one of my favorite genres. I
So
do
we
love
all
heist
like this
movies,
genre.
and I
Have you ever been a part of a heist, Rob?
just want to talk about it. You know, the statute of limitations not
That's
quite
inspired.
closed.
By the definition that you are laying out for this
I've not been part of my type
episode,
of
have you
heist.
been a part of your type of heist?
No,
Just my own.
Just by yourself or with one
Just-
other
just-
person. when
just
you
singular
solo
heist.
just the
gems.
solo. Yes,
He's Brad Pitt by himself, laying in a room in Aeropostale.
I have no idea what you're saying.
So I would like to just abandon that dying train of thought.
Sorry.
And instead go with the reason I personally like heists so
Okay.
much. I think they work so well as movies. Heists in these movies, these very elaborately planned, crazily executed ensemble pieces, they're like movies. Like, I think of all genres, heist movies are the ones that are the most like filmmaking. And that, I think, is why they feel so good in cinema. Because
I
it's
think so, too.
a group effort that requires a crazy amount of forethought.
And alignment. I love the alignment
Yeah.
piece of heist movies. Like everything has to come
I don't
together.
know if looking at my list, all pretty well critically regarded. Almost all of them above 80.
It's a I don't know the ratings on mine, but it is a critically well-regarded genre. I think in part because it does like reward you for thinking and paying attention.
And that's all I'll give away from my list. Kara,
All right.
let's jump in. What do you have as your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 is on both of your lists. It's one we saw yesterday. Did you have one on your list from yesterday, Rob?
I don't know yet.
It's the 1988 A Fish Called Wanda.
Really?
Oh, nice.
You liked it that
I really
much?
enjoyed it.
It's a delightful motion picture.
It's
Did-
very good. It just
you-
didn't meet my criteria.
What part didn't it meet?
It happened. The heist portion of the film really takes place in the beginning element, the first part of the movie.
That wasn't part of your criteria
Yeah,
at
so
all.
the whole thing has to be the planning stage, and the heist has to be the focus of the movie.
To me, enough of that movie is about the fallout from the heist that I would still be willing to count it.
And it still has to,
not
like-
It's not like the heist is some extraneous element that you could clip out and have the same movie.
Agreed.
Sure.
And that is why it makes my list. So I think this was a favorite of a lot of our listeners too. And we watched it because I was like, gosh, how did I miss all these really good ones? Love 80s genre anything.
I couldn't tell if you liked it. Yeah,
Really?
I didn't get
I've
it.
got a
You-
good
you
poker
gotta-
face.
Yeah, I'm not playing poker with you.
Yeah, I know. It's directed by Charles Crichton
That's right.
and written by John Cleese, who also is in the movie.
Yes, indeed.
And so Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie, which I was cracking up the entire time she was in it because when I first met Rob's dad, I don't know, Rob's dad and I stay up drinking sometimes and after Rob goes to bed, obviously. And whenever I get Rob's dad going, he's always like, we get talking about stuff and he's like, yeah, you know what? Best actress in the world, like biggest babe, Jamie Lee Curtis. And I was like, like I get where you're coming from, but like I can think of some other people. This movie, I got it.
You got it now. See
I
this
was-
and then Trading Places unrated
Yeah.
back to back, and you got yourself a...
This movie, she's smoking. So I was enjoying it from that aspect too. Kevin Kline did it. Hilarious performance from him.
Oscar-winning performance. in
Really?
fact. Definitely Oscar-nominated. I'm pretty sure he won.
He won. He was really funny.
He's really good.
Really,
He's
really funny.
Really good.
This is why I smell my armpits, by the way. This
Is
is why
it?
I do it.
'Cause of
Yeah.
Kevin Kline?
It's all Kevin Kline. I'm not really checking for body odor.
I mean, you have
Kevin
body
Kline,
odor.
Kevin
Yeah.
Kline is not an admirable character.
Oh, right.
I look up to him.
He does, yeah.
But just don't call me stupid.
I know, that was funny too. He was just a funny character.
It's a great comic performance.
It's a great comic performance. So if you haven't seen it, it's about a woman named Wanda, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who is a lover of diamonds. And she goes out on this plot to, with her boyfriend Otto, who's played by Kevin Kline, to lift these $20 million worth of diamonds. They go out, and then she's partnered with George, who's this old guy. It becomes this funny tale of everybody's basically screwing over everybody else. Like, I'm lying to you and you're lying to me, and so I think I'm winning, and everybody thinks they're winning because they're lying to each other, but nobody's winning.
It's one of those great movies where there's a grand total of one named character who isn't just a complete piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah, I forget his name, but the one played by Michael Palin, who is a very sweet
guy. I know. And Jamie Lee Curtis plays this really promiscuous, seducey lady, and she just plays it so well. She's really good in it.
The four leads are just
awesome.
In this movie.
John Cleese too in this was hysterical.
I'm glad that it paid off to go back, because we were looking for things to watch, and it was explore something new, or should we go back and try to help support our list, and we ended up doing that. So
yeah,
I'm glad it paid off for you.
It made my number 5.
Excellent.
So didn't make either of your lists.
It did not make mine, in part because I sort of forgot that it does probably qualify as a heist film, in part because my number 5 is also a Charles Crichton film. It is a different Charles Crichton film.
Interesting.
1951's Ealing Studios comedy from Great Britain, The Lavender Hill Mob, which is the story of a very shy, nervous bank clerk played by Alec Guinness, who is, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi and all sorts of great things.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, yeah.
Great British actor who we tend to think of for his dramatic roles like that, Bridge on the River Kwai, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Really, really good comic actor, as it turns out. So he is this very reserved, retiring bank clerk who sort of decides more or less accidentally to steal I forget how many £1 million worth of gold bullion, partners with a career criminal played by Stanley Holloway and a few other sort of thuggish sorts to execute the perfect crime where they're going to steal these gigantic quantities of gold and melt them down into souvenir statues of the Eiffel Tower so they can ship them across the channel without detection. And that's as far as I'll take that. That's actually already possibly taking it a tiny bit too far. Very much a film about the planning. The execution of the heist takes place very late in the game, goes, as these things will tend to do, not exactly according to plan because this is a comedy. Mostly I love it just because it's this wonderful mix of really, really well drawn comic characters in the context of an actual plot, rather than just hey, here's some funny people hanging out, which was kind of a characteristic of the Ealing Studios comedies. Really funny, really charming. It's honestly one of my favorite Alec Guinness performances because you don't usually get to see him do comedy, and he's just so nice for someone who's spearheading this gigantic government destabilizing crime. Did this meet the criteria of being 3 or more heisters? There are 4.
There's 4. There's 4. Okay.
It's been a while since I've watched it, but I do believe there are 4.
It felt like 3, maybe 2.
Could have in fact been one man who has a severe psychological
personality
break, and
disorder.
all of his personalities are different.
Still qualifies in that case.
And also an Oscar-winning film for best screenplay. So
really,
I need to check this out. I need to see more things with Alec.
Yeah, I know,
because he's kind of the best actor who ever lived. Kind of.
You think so?
Maybe.
Huh.
This is a good piece of evidence.
Really good, yeah.
And I feel like the trope. It's funny that you mentioned the melting down, which I know. Hopefully, that's. I don't think that ruins anything, but I feel like that's a trope now. And that's where it's gone down, where you mold things to be something else. Sure. And I feel like a lot of movies have played, and maybe that's the original where it got its start.
I don't know that it is. I don't know that it isn't. It's the earliest example I can think of right offhand. Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like people probably stole that from Goldfinger more than they stole it from this.
Okay.
Because in Goldfinger is, I think, 12 years
The Austin
later.
Powers movie?
Yes.
I thought so. That's not on your list, Rob?
No, it is not on my list. In fact, nothing, I will just give this away, nothing before 1990 is on
I'm just going to say this right now. My list is so self-evidently the list of somebody who grew up watching European comedies. So
all right.
Let's just get that right.
I feel good about that. What's your number 5 then, Rob?
Not a European comedy. It's in fact one that may not be deserving of a number 5, but I want to talk about it because it's forgotten.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody talk about this movie
It's
from
on my
2007.
list.
No, it's not. I don't think you've seen this. Well reviewed, well liked, but just nobody talks about it, and it was a flop. I'm talking about 2007's The Lookout. And I know you're a big Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan.
I saw that movie when it opened. I liked it very much. I think there's a review of it on the site.
Okay.
I remember liking it. I forgot about that movie. You were totally right.
I really like it a lot. It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a promising high school athlete whose life is turned upside down right in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Is involved in a tragic accident, which is beautifully shot by Scott Frank, who's really he's a writer, more of a writer, and then picked up the directing job. Originally, David Fincher and Sam Mendes and Steven Spielberg were actually set to possibly direct this,
but not all at the same time.
Not all at the same time. They all kind of passed for various reasons, and he's like, you know what, this will be my first and then only movie to direct, and I wish he'd do something else. I really liked it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, high school athlete, life turned upside down, tragic accident, and starts having he has short-term memory. That's all. He can only remember things for small periods of time, much like Memento.
Yeah.
And he has a mentor in Jeff Daniels, who plays a blind person who lives in his building, and he's a janitor who I think works at a bank.
Okay.
I think it's been a while since I've seen this, but he falls for this girl who's
Joseph Gordon-Levitt
falls for this girl
Okay.
who's kind of mixed up with these kind of these bank robber type people, and they want to take advantage of him in his role as a janitor to be the lookout for their heist.
Okay.
And it has some twists and turns, and it's great acting. Jeff Daniels, I remember being
so good
awesome,
always.
and Joseph Gordon-Levitt hasn't really let me down in anything
except for that
maybe
Snowden
G.I. Joe
movie.
And Snowden.
That Snowden movie was bad.
The voice was a bit much.
Yeah.
And I will argue that he is the weak link in Don John.
Okay.
So let's talk about the positives about
I think people
Gordon-Levitt.
need to see this movie, and I'll go back. I'm curious to go back to your review now, and I encourage everybody else to check out Tim's review. Hopefully it's a
my
good
vintage review from 10 years ago, so I have no idea if I still endorse it.
It's called Lighthouse?
No, The Lookout.
The Lookout. Okay. Oh, close.
Yeah.
That was close there.
Made for $16 million, only made $5 million. So,
It sounds kind of good.
It's very good.
I
That
remember
opening
at the
scene.
time thinking that we were in the middle of like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt golden age, because that was like a year after Brick.
Yep.
Which remains my favorite one of his performances. But I remember thinking that this was like a close number 2.
And I think after seeing Brick, I became just hugely enamored with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So I was trying to consume everything he made. And this,
I want to see it.
yeah,
now.
I think you'd really love just the opening scene and how his tragedy befalls him. So that's my number 5.
Yeah.
Here's my number 4.
Good number 5s, everybody. I feel very good
You
about
do?
Good. Yeah,
you
good
do?
stuff.
A fish called... Yeah, it's probably downhill for me. For you, it's uphill for me, if I looked at it that way.
That would make sense.
Do you happen to have the 2013's Now You See Me on yours?
I do not have the 2013.
But did you like it?
I liked it. I didn't adore it. It did some things I really, really liked.
I like magic.
I do too.
Is it on your list?
No, it's not on my list.
But did you want to put it on your
Now
list?
You See Me Too on your list.
Did we talk about this? Because I have a joke for this. I feel like they should have called it
Now You Don't.
Now You Don't. Did you have the same joke?
That a lot of people had that joke.
Dang it.
Oh, you're not really that original.
No, that one was...
Yeah, no.
Apparently it was titled Now You Don't, and the studio was like, no one will know it's a sequel. It's like, fuck you.
I did not enjoy the sequel. The original really...
Oh, no, I like the sequel, too. I like them all.
No, it was
I
okay.
don't
Just
know.
not as much as the first.
I just like magic enough to
I'm trying to
overlook
think.
anything.
Does this qualify? Yes, it qualifies.
Oh, totally. This is 100%
Yeah, of course it
qualifies.
does. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah, please.
So it's Louis Leterrier.
Terrier.
You wouldn't think terrier, but yeah, it is. And Ed Solomon. So this is Jesse Eisenberg. Common is in this too. No last name. Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, the redhead that you like, Rob. Not.
Oh, I know who Isla Fisher is. I'm trying to remember Common in this movie.
He's in
the movie.
I don't remember him.
You like Isla, not Amy Adams, right?
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an Amy Adams fan?
I like Isla Fisher just fine, but I'm definitely an Amy Adams fan.
See, that's interesting. She's in that one with the guy from Grey's Anatomy where she's a fairy princess, right?
Yes.
I can see why you
Enchanted.
like her now.
Are we basing this on
good,
acting,
Tim.
or are we basing this on just pure
No,
lust?
pure.
Don't be a lookist, Rob.
Oh, I was looking. Isla's the upgrade there.
For the record, I would also find Amy Adams to be a more satisfying sexual partner, I suspect.
I think for me, Isla would be a more satisfying sexual partner for sure. I don't know what it is.
She'd be a caring lover.
I can't put my finger on it, but I don't know.
Well, then she probably wouldn't be a very satisfying sexual partner.
Dave Franco.
All right, so keep telling us
Dave
about Now You See Me.
Dave Franco is also in this movie, and I lost my train of thought. Hang on. So
You're talking about the cast.
what movie is this?
Now You See Me.
So Now You See Me, 2013.
Yes.
Yeah.
Movie material.
So an FBI agent and an Interpol detective track a team of illusionists who are the Four Horsemen.
Yep.
Still thinking about your weird comment. And they pull off a set of bank heists. And in the reward from their performances, they give out all the money. So they steal all this money in these bank heists, and then
It's
they give
like
it to
a Robin Hood situation.
Exactly. And I love anything sleight of hand. I love anything illusion, redirection, magic, whatever. And this movie was that for me.
The weirdly specific thing I remember just adoring about this movie is in the opening scene, Jesse Eisenberg is doing a card trick. And part of the
Yes.
card trick is that he has to force a card on his mark. And Leterrier figured out a way to literally force a card on the audience by like doing some digital trickery in the editing to make one card appear for a frame longer than the rest. So then when he does his big reveal, the audience has already been primed to expect the same card, and it's like it totally works.
It
and I love
works
so much.
I
Opening
didn't
scene
know
of the movie,
anything
so
about
good.
what you're talking about right now, but that makes me like it even a little bit more. My dad loved this movie too. Last night we were at my nephew's birthday party. And my dad pretty much rattled off my entire list. So we're sitting there and we're talking about the episode, and my dad's like, "We're gonna have now you see me on there, aren't you?" And I was like,
This is
Dad.
where Carrie gets her list. She primes it from her dad.
Did you just ask your dad for a top five? and then you
No,
quickly wrap
we
it
just
up?
have the same taste in movies, and so he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have
it,
Now
it
so
certainly
good."
qualifies, and I do have fond feelings of Now You
But
See
not
Me.
on either of your lists. So
Nope.
what does that make your number 4?
So my number 4, this is the point where I had a very hard decision to make. I sort of accidentally fell into doing 5 different kinds of heist movies, and my number 4 slot was the glossy Euro romp from the 60s slot. The movie I did not put in my list, but you should all still go see it, is Topkapi, which is a delightful caper film from 1964. The movie I did pick, the 1966 film directed by William Wyler, written by Harry Kernitz, How to Steal a Million. This does not meet Rob's criterion. There are 2. It is Audrey Hepburn and Peter O'Toole. And having said that, I think I don't need to say anything else to defend why this is a great movie, because they are both very pretty.
What are they stealing a million of?
My heart.
A million hearts?
They are stealing. So what happens is that Audrey Hepburn's dad is an art forger. And so she has to steal, I believe she has to steal the original version of the statue that her father has forged.
Okay.
In order to protect him from going to jail. So she hires a thief, played by Peter O'Toole, and they fall in love because they're very pretty, and that's what pretty people do.
Audrey
in
Hepburn
movies.
was pretty. I can't picture Peter O'Toole though, except for an
This
old
was
Peter
before he
O'Toole.
became like bloated and drunk and old. This is like peak sexy.
Peak.
Peter O'Toole.
Keep talking.
Please
I'm going
do.
to look him up. Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I am a shallow enough person to say that yes, the main draw for me is just looking at Audrey Hepburn and Peter O'Toole and ogling and drooling, because they are gorgeous human beings. Really good cast overall, but those 2 are totally the leads. And it's a pretty ingenious, fun heist, but it falls into the sort of subgenre. I'd say Duplicity from 2009 is another film in this genre, where it's like these 2 people are lying to each other and they are thieves, and that makes them very horny for each other. And when 2 beautiful people are that horny for each other, I get horny for both of them as well.
So,
and it's just sort of this whole like sexy, fun romp through European museums, and William Wyler's a solid enough director that even his like crappy cash-in comedies are still like really solid pieces of filmmaking.
I have to question your taste. I found a picture of him. He's less.
Well, you're looking at old pictures. I can see this. Like that. That does not, to you, is not a sexy picture.
No. He's so gaunt.
No, I clearly do not.
He needs a little beef on him.
I'll tell you what, Tim. I'm a big.
This one, that's a little smoky right there.
Like look
That's
at the smoldering going on.
There's a little
there.
smolder. I
I have
see
a
where
soft
you're going.
spot
Yeah.
for heist movies, but in particular, I really like art forgery movies.
Yeah.
I don't know why. There's something about the craft of replicating something, because then it just calls into question what is art. If you can replicate it to a degree where it's you can't tell
that
the
is
difference.
not being engaged by this movie. To be fair.
Okay, well then I'll probably be less interested. Just go for the eye candy.
There's a little bit. It's pretty much eye candy. It's eye candy, and like it's a good, well constructed comedy. It's funny. It moves really fast. It's one of those like very chic comedies from the 60s where everybody dresses well and says witty things and are just so ridiculously superior to all of us that it's just hard not to feel like, oh my God, you are sophisticated and wonderful people.
Yeah.
So
No, it sounds
it's just
good.
like, I love it. I love it a lot.
Is it something that you have that I can borrow?
I keep meaning to buy it. It's so weird tangent. It's a film that's offered on Blu-ray in the Twilight Time series, which is this like limited to 3,000 edition Blu-rays collection. And I tend to only buy those when there are sales or when it looks like one is going to sell out. I don't think I bought this one. I think this is one I thought about buying,
Okay.
but I didn't quite pull the trigger.
You buy it, I'll watch it.
Sounds good.
For my number 4, I go back to a childhood movie that taught me a little bit about hacking before really I knew anything about computers. And we were talking about ensembles being part of my criteria. This one has quite the ensemble. Talking about 1992's Sneakers.
I was so hoping you were going to say The Net.
Oh, that would have been great.
Oh, The Net.
Terrible. The Net is very bad.
This is before The Net.
This is pre The Net.
I
Predates
think
The Net.
there were a
Sneakers is
few
really good.
sneakers. There were a few sneaker people on our
There
on the
were,
site.
certainly. And this one stars Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, Sidney Poitier, I always mispronounce his name, Strathern,
Strathern, I think.
Strathern.
River Phoenix, and Mary McDonald.
Oh, River Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like
Awesome
it's so
ensemble.
good.
And directed by Phil Alden Robinson. Also, I think he was the writer on Field of Dreams.
Director of
of Field of Dreams,
Dreams.
and some of all Fears. Not
Field
as
of
not
Dreams.
as
We don't
impressive.
know.
We don't
Shush.
talk about that. But it's a security pro finds his past coming back to haunt him when he and his unique team are tasked with retrieving a particularly important item.
What's the item?
It's a chip that allows you to hack into any system.
Okay.
It is a pure blood MacGuffin.
It's
Like,
a MacGuffin.
It does not matter.
Yes.
It's
And
just
for
a thing.
those who don't know what a MacGuffin is,
So
I don't know if Carrie knows.
MacGuffin, it's the term that Alfred Hitchcock came up with in I think the 50s to describe the object that everybody in the film universe agrees is extraordinarily important, but it has no plot relevance.
Okay.
What it is. It could be like a giant bag of gold-plated potato chips.
And then
without
it just
changing the
ends
plot.
and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what this is. This is something you can plug in any computer to, and by connecting your computer to it, and we're talking 1982 computers, you can hack in and change flights.
Hey,
It was a floppy
1992
disk.
computers would allow me to play Myst, Joe.
That's
Yeah.
that's true. This
I think
one,
that's true. I think that came out in 93. But anyway.
Either way.
the ensemble here is incredible. I mean, any one of these individuals are leading men, leading women in their respective films that they're typically in, and bringing them together for this. We're having to work together and collaborate. I also think, I'm blanking on who's the villain in this. I'm blanking on it.
Who is the villain in this?
Oh,
You talk.
well, yeah,
I'll look it up.
you look it up too. Also, very well-known actor, but just the computer aspect to it. I've always been a wannabe hacker.
Yeah.
So this is my introduction into hacking and love of computers and what computers could possibly
Could
do
be.
in the wrong hands.
Sure.
So yeah, really dug this movie. 2 hours and 5 minutes, 7.1 on IMDb, and 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. If you haven't seen Sneakers, I think it holds up pretty well. I really do. And still a lot of the biometric, kind of having to get past security. Steven Tobolowsky plays a small role in this as well, too. A very well-known character actor.
So I don't want to spoil my list, but I don't
Ben
know.
Kingsley. That just popped in my mind.
Is it Ben?
Okay,
was
Ben
getting
Kingsley just popped in my
He
mind.
passed away.
What?
I think.
No, he didn't.
Hang on.
No.
Don't bring...
No, he's very
much
very
alive.
hale and hearty at the
he
young
is?
age of 73.
Oh, sorry, he's only
Here, I thought we were breaking
73?
some news.
Don't you even-
I'm
don't you
thinking
dare.
of Charlton Heston.
He is dead.
He is dead. I'm
He is
thinking of
not
Charlton
an
Heston.
Anglo-Indian actor.
No, they should pull up Ben Kingsley for me. So I don't know if I'll get a chance to talk about this again, depending on what your lists are. And I don't want to talk about a lot of actor babes.
This is very small.
Oh, yeah, he looks-
Speaking of actor babes, even in
Ben
70s,
Kingsley's
I
alive
would-
for
I
sure.
would
Oh,
not
it's,
throw him out of
He's
bed
from
for
the
crackers.
Last House on the Left.
House on the Fog.
House on the
Sand
Fog, yeah.
House on Fog.
Last
So-
House on the Left is a very,
Very different movie, which I hope you never see for
But
other...
but I was
I
pretty
hope
close
you
with
do.
the word house. Did you hear what I did there? So, but Robert Redford, man, when you're talking about babes, I want to lay out my babe here. He is a babe, and I'm not gonna
He was a babe. He has not aged terribly well.
I disagree.
He's gotten very leathery.
But that's
I-
I think it took to his 70s to get to the leathery stage. Wouldn't you
Sure.
say still good in
Nope.
the 60s?
I disagree. I would say leathery Robert Redford is still better today
Go
than
see
any.
Pete's Dragon. Go see Pete's Dragon. Go see All Is Lost.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's bad.
All Is Lost is phenomenal. But
No, the
he
movie's
does
good.
appear to be made out of somebody's used work boots.
It's the jawline, his hair, his face, everything about him, though. I'm going to lay it out there that he's the babe of that time for sure, though.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
no, because he was at the same time as Paul Newman.
Better than Paul.
No, no one is better than Paul
What?
Newman.
Oh, I agree.
So the minute you said, who was the guy that you just said that was so good looking?
Ben Kingsley?
No,
Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole. The minute you said Peter O'Toole, I was like, oh, you're a Paul Newman fan.
Of course I am.
So I'm a Paul
How are
Newman
you-
fan,
How is
but
anyone a non-Paul Newman fan?
not as much as Robert Redford.
So to be honest, we just saw The Sting. It's not on my list. I'll give that away. Seeing the two of them on screen side by side.
Who is
Paul
it?
Newman caught my eye.
No.
more. But not. It's.
You see, I
it's
would
just
actually
more his
say
charisma. It was more his
in
charisma.
Sting, I do prefer Redford because I don't think Newman carries off the mustache.
Oh, okay.
I
was here to support you,
I'm so glad
Tim.
we can talk about this. I feel like this is really all I really want to be talking about on this podcast. So Robert Redford, I was like, man, you are just, if we had met at a different time, I feel like he might have had a thing for me. Maybe.
Maybe.
I just feel like now he looks
Did
like.
he marry anybody of note?
I don't believe he ever married.
Still a chance, kid.
There's still a chance.
Oh,
I feel like he's got the guy from Silence of the Lambs like wearing people's faces look.
That is unjust. Even though I said he looks like work boots.
that's rude. I would take
that's
those
too
work
far?
boots. It's too far. You're so rude.
Because if he was wearing other people's skin, he'd look better.
Oh, you guys are just jealous is
Well,
what's happening
obviously.
here. You're just jealous.
How can I not be jealous of Robert Redford? I'll probably be dead when I'm his age.
That's true. That's a good point. So, anyway,
The hell are we? Are we at your number three,
three.
Carrie?
my three, which
right.
is on either of your lists, but only because you forgot about this movie, much like Rob's first movie. This is the 1909's Entrapment.
I have never seen Entrapment.
Oh, and here is why you should.
This is your dad's list.
I know.
I feel like I heard him talking about
So
this.
so here's the thing.
I mean, talking about people that I just want to watch making out in a movie, though.
Like Sean Connery and
Sean
Catherine
Connery and Catherine
Zeta-Jones.
Zeta-Jones.
Yeah. So my dad was like, what's that movie where they're doing all the maneuvering over the laser beams? And I was like, Dad. And I was doing the thing where I was like, because I didn't want Rob to remember this
Sure.
movie. And my
It's
dad's
okay.
like,
It's fine. It's not. It wouldn't have made my list.
it wouldn't have made your list.
absolutely
No.
not.
1999. It's directed by John Emile, written by Ronald Bass. It's the story of Sean Connery, who's he's like an old guy thief. And Catherine Zeta-Jones is like a hired, I think she's like a police person or something like that. So she comes out and she's trying to take him down because he's this retired artwork thief all these years. And he comes in and she pretends to be someone that wants to be his sidekick. And he puts her through this super rigorous training to try and go after this highly valued mask that's out there that's worth like millions and millions of dollars. And then there's attraction grows from that.
As it will.
As it will, as it were. And it's a story. For some reason, it only gets a 6.3 on IMDb. I think it's haters that are out there.
That feels about right.
No, this movie was so good, and I loved this movie.
You're like 6.3 is generous. No, it's not a bad movie. I don't think it's bad.
I
but
love Sean
It's just
Connery.
the two, right?
Just-
I think they pair up with.
I didn't have a number
Sometimes I feel
threshold.
like somehow Jean Reno is popping in my head, but maybe not. There was like a third.
When
there was
doesn't
like a
Jean
friend.
Reno pop in
I
your
feel like
head?
yeah,
but they're
it's-
after. It's a heist movie.
Usually,
that's for sure.
Usually in lovemaking is when Jean Reno pops into my head. But
yes.
I know what you're talking about, but it's definitely a heist movie. Definitely a Catherine Zeta-Jones. You have to see like they go over these laser beams, and it's like this they do the worm.
the whole trailer
basically.
was as Catherine
I remember
Zeta-Jones'
the trailer.
ass just going up and
Remember the
down.
trailer. I was a
lasers.
17-year-old boy when the trailer came out.
It worked for me as a 17-year-old boy too, but it was so good. I love this movie. I saw it in theaters. And my dad liked it too. So it's not just me, and that's my number 3.
No, good pick.
What is your number 3?
I'm feeling really bad right now because I feel like this has been our horniest episode ever, and I'm just gonna have to stop it cold right
Heist
now.
get people off
You
it'd
thought it would be-
That's the whole point.
You thought
They're
it'd be a
sexy. It's the
rom-com.
sexiest of genres.
It is.
So my film is a great movie. Not very sexy, but it is great. 1956's The Killing,
Oh my
directed by
gosh.
Stanley Kubrick.
Damn it.
It's on your list.
No.
Wrote the screenplay from a novel by Lionel White called Clean Break. And this is... it's not just the story of how a group of men stole $2 million from a racetrack. It sort of starts in the middle. It's the structure that Reservoir Dogs would later copy, where we are seeing both the heist and the aftermath of the heist playing out in sort of this twisty way. So it's all about how this group of thieves planned this airtight, faultless heist. And one little thing goes wrong. And because that one little thing went wrong, everything gets fucked up. They still end up with the money, but now they have this entirely different like dynamic at the time they've gotten the money than they expected to. They have to do different things. So it's all about like the psychology of being a heister. It's like, how do you cope with things having gone corkscrew shaped and you still won, you still quote unquote got the money, but now you've gotten the money at a very different cost than you expected.
So does
to.
getting the money happen super early on?
We know super early on that they get the money, but we see them get the money in sort of a different order. The movie's told out of order.
Oh, okay.
So the cast is led by Sterling Hayden, who is just beyond good. It's quite probably my favorite Sterling Hayden performance. He's, this very hard-boiled, like ultra masculine actor from the 1950s. And we sort of watch him disintegrate.
Has he done anything else?
He is also General Ripper in Dr. Strangelove, which is also by Stanley Kubrick. He's in The Godfather. He's been in a million things. Like
okay.
He's an extraordinarily well-known, well-regarded actor. But yeah, so it's just this really structurally awesome movie, and I think extremely well acted. A huge part of what I love about it, unfortunately, I can't talk about because it's what happens towards the ending, and I know neither one of you have seen this movie.
Yeah, it's in my blind spot, and I think I would possibly like it. And it was I fault our audience a little bit for this.
Yeah.
They could have voted for this. This was one of our contenders.
Were there any votes for it?
They had a couple votes,
Okay.
just not enough to
They're all people that follow Tim, probably. Right?
Yeah, probably.
They ought to be.
Yeah, no, that's I when I saw it, I went through a few of the synopses for those, and that one actually looked like one I would actually enjoy. So
I wonder if you'd be a Kubrick fan.
Stanley. What else? You said that he did.
Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah,
Never made it through.
2001.
I'd Wide
Space
Shut. Yeah.
Odyssey.
What is your?
My number 3. This is when I think of quintessential. This is where we might have some overlap.
Yep.
At least for Carrie and I. Tim, I don't foresee this being on your list, but
It's my number 2.
Might underestimate you. This is 2003's
No,
The Italian Job.
I've never seen it.
The remake of the Italian
The remake.
Job.
I've
never seen it either.
You're a monster.
No, I like the remake.
Can I tell you something really vulgar?
Does the remake have a Cockney man
It does not.
furiously indicating that you were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off?
No, it does not. But
Automatically the second best Italian Job.
Okay.
Super gross. It came out, I think, when I was in college. What year did you say?
2003. That's
yeah,
right.
and I remember thinking it was about going to base 3.
That's
And so I was like,
I don't get where you came up with that, but sure.
I just thought it was like, I don't know why
It's funny
I
how
thought it was about that.
Carrie's bass arrangement has changed since we met. Originally, when we had the bass discussion,
is home base now like
Keep your
falling
bases
asleep?
to yourself.
anything job related was like first base originally. Now she's moved it to third base, which probably fits more.
Job related?
Job
My mom
related.
listens
Like
to this.
her employment?
Maybe.
Oh, job. Oh, I got you.
All right, just, you know what? This is a public forum, people. It's 3, and that's I was nervous to watch it. I didn't know it was about a heist. Stop laughing over there.
Like, I knew one and only one thing about this. It was like a feature-length ad for Mini Coopers, right?
It ended up being. I wanted to buy one. I love the Italian
It's
Job.
good.
It has the ensemble cast: Donald Sutherland, Mark Wahlberg, Edward Norton as the bad guy with a mustache, with the skinny, tiny mustache, which you gotta love. Charlize Theron, Jason Statham, really kind of early Jason Statham too, where he'd been on with I think Snatch came before this. Is that right? Yeah. People knew of Jason Statham, but this is where I really took notice of him. And then Seth Green. I also have Mos Def on here too. After being betrayed and left for dead in Italy, Charlie Croker, played by Mark Wahlberg, and his team plan an elaborate gold heist to get back at their former ally who's kind of betrayed them.
So I will say this. Urban Dictionary user Nick wrote, is trying to make Italian Job happen as a euphemism for getting a blowjob in a Mini Cooper. So,
And this is the confusion
I
right
understand.
here because of Urban Dictionary.
It was a lot of.
it is by a very considerable margin the second most popular. The most popular definition is that it is the movie.
No, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and kind of a little different than most traditional heist movies. It's less about the heist at this point. It's more about kind of getting vengeance and getting back at the betrayal.
But what are they
that
stealing
occurred.
again?
Gold bars
To break down into Eiffel Towers?
No, they're not breaking down.
You're just falling down entirely. I'm not interested in this movie.
They're betrayed early on.
Okay.
And it's about they have this job, it goes off perfectly, and they're betrayed and left for dead, and they get back at the person who ended up betraying them. And the whole plot is to get back. It's less about the gold.
Yeah.
It's the gold. It's
the gold is in there.
Too.
Yeah.
But it's more about get back at this person who betrayed us, and that's the driving
I know
force.
this is a favorite. Would I like it?
I think you would really like it.
Yeah, so
Charlize
old.
Theron.
Yeah, I like Charlize Theron. I'm gonna get after it. I've got a couple off of this episode.
We gotta.
So this one, my number 2, just on a side note, is going to be both of your number 1s or 2s. It has to be somewhere on somebody's list. I can't even believe that it hasn't been mentioned already. I thought it'd be like number 5 for the rest of you people. But anyway, it's the number. Wait, it's the year 2001. Ocean's 11.
Number 2 here.
Number 1.
Oh.
Yeah, line up. Nice job.
Really?
Yeah. At least first base.
What about?
I would let Ocean's 11 put it up my butt.
What
Which
base
is like a
that?
second base for you, right?
No, that's first base.
That's dugout.
You don't even want to know what home
That's like
base
batting practice. Yeah,
This is dugout. I'm definitely telling my mom not to listen to this episode. So this isn't
What
where
is it about heist movies? What the fuck?
I don't know what it is. It's very weird.
that's my number 1.
This is literally, so if my number 1 wasn't my number 1 for other reasons, if it wasn't so heisty and so my favorite movie and so number 1, I wouldn't have chosen it. But Ocean's 11 is my favorite heist. Oh, like everything about it movie. So it's directed by Steven Soderbergh, who did something else.
Who did Logan Lucky, which is the reason we're all gathered here.
Right.
Which is why I'm so damn
Did
excited.
he do all the oceans?
He did all 3 oceans.
All three oceans.
And I will say, I like Ocean's 12 better as a motion picture. Ocean's 11 is clearly a superior film.
It's
Clearly.
so good. It's so good. It's also written by George Clayton Johnson. I don't know what else he wrote, but probably something. And it stars everybody. It stars the whole world.
Yeah, it does.
It stars many folk.
So it's George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Matt Damon, Bernie Mac, Casey Affleck. There's that other guy that was kind of hot from...
Matt Damon.
No, I already said Matt Damon.
Scott Conn?
Yeah. Is that the guy
Elliot
from...
Gould.
Like Carl Reiner?
Is he the guy with where's the gold medal? Who's the guy that has his shirt on?
That's Elliot Gould.
Elliot Gould. Oh, yeah.
In the swimming pool. Yeah,
In the swimming
swimming
pool. He's pretty good. He's not
What
so
I love
bad
about
himself.
this is it gives everybody time.
Everyone has
totally.
their time.
Somehow they all have time.
Who's the guy? The guy from that '70s show?
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace is in this
He's not one
too.
of the 11.
Yeah, he's not.
he's
one
not?
Of the,
He's
no,
not.
He's
He's the mark that Brad Pitt is demonstrating the excellence of his card playing skills against.
But I like him. I like him so much.
It's the best scene in Topher Grace's career.
It is Ogre. I do like Topher Grace
This
quite
movie
a bit.
just exudes cool.
Cool.
So cool.
It's just cool.
It's so son of a bitching cool.
Yeah.
Did you want to be a part of the
I wanted
11?
so bad.
I know.
I wanted to stand there at the Bellagio watching the water with them and being like, yeah, we're cool.
We're cool.
They're
We're
so
hip.
cool. They're so cool.
You feel like you could blend in. So Danny Ocean wants to score big on his heist of the history, who's played by who's played by George Clooney, and then he goes out and he gets 11 of his buddies together.
He gets 10 of his buddies. He is 11.
That's more factual. What you're saying is more factual than what I said. And then they go out to steal a bunch of cash from the Bellagio, Mirage, and the MGM Grand, who are all owned by Terry Benedict, who's played by a person.
Andy
He
Garcia.
is most
Andy
actors are
Garcia.
Andy Garcia, which gets us back into Italian Job territory of the whole thing is actually a revenge plot.
Yeah.
Right, because he goes after you mean because of Julia Roberts?
Because Terry Benedict stole Danny Ocean's wife.
His wife. And
Tess.
how
Tess Ocean.
Tess Ocean. And how can you not love the relationship between George Clooney and Julia Roberts? They're like the best, cutest relationship.
It's amazing how little screen time Julia Roberts has in this movie, and like the relationship between those two is the engine that drives
Yes.
it, and it's so.
And you believe
perfect.
it. You believe their love. You're like, you are married. Like, I get why you went to jail.
Totally.
I get it. So he comes back to steal all of this guy's money, and it's this heisty, exchangey, diabolical, like what other like
It's
synonyms?
just like, it's such a perfect example of like watching them talk about the mechanics of the heist.
The mechanics.
Practice the mechanics of the heist. Execute the mechanics
And the
of the heist.
execution.
And what makes this one amazing, we have this, like the whole movie is the plot.
Yes.
Like the movie does not have any fat on it. It's all about how do we
Yes.
plan and execute this crime. And within that, they're still able to put a twist in.
Yes.
So that we are just completely shocked.
Yes.
Very much the same thing that The Sting does.
Yes.
I have
yes,
an hour
yes.
56 runtime. So Soderbergh is really talented at
He is
Making
really
it feel like
talented.
minutes,
that
seconds.
heist.
It feels like seconds.
And to build things without words. So that tension that you mentioned between Julia Roberts and George Clooney, that you want them, there's this, you
This
feel
connection.
it.
Yeah,
this
you
tangible
feel it.
tension. It's similar to Out of Sight too, which I know he directed too, between Jennifer Lopez. Like it's just there. It's palpable.
Yes.
I'm excited about Logan Lucky for these reasons.
On the subject of scenes without words, one of my favorite parts of this movie is when I think it's Danny Ocean and Brad Pitt's character Rusty are trying to decide how many more men they need, and George Clooney carries on the entire conversation, and Brad Pitt is like just staring deadpan, like out into space. And it's such a perfectly timed comic scene.
Yes.
The actors are both like on fire. It's a single take, so there's no cutting to like help the timing. It's just like so good.
Yeah.
I can tell everybody had fun. It seemed like they were all having just a good time in
It's
this
like
movie.
the all-time best watching beautiful, famous people hanging out movie.
Favorite character, Rob, in that movie? Go.
Brad Pitt.
Tim.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. That was mine.
He is
That was my
fun.
pick.
He's from Chicago.
Yeah,
So I gotta love that. He's also like he's kind of
just Matt
goofball
Damon. I
who's a
thought
little bit
we were all gonna have
like kind of the
different
wannabe,
people.
like really wants to like
He
prove
wants
himself.
to hang
He
in.
wants to prove himself.
I love that scene where he's like trapped in the building and he's trying to get out.
Yes.
And like they're all like waiting in the trunk for him, and,
and he's,
they
like,
can
all
see him like
sweaty.
running
that
through
one,
the
yeah.
building to try and get out, and he ends up like crashing out on a roof to try and get out. just
good.
one of my literal favorite movies
so
of all
good.
time. I have it on VHS if anyone wants to borrow it.
I have it
So
on Blu-ray.
you would.
To hell with
You
your
would.
VHS.
So snooty you.
I just got it. Not that long
So
ago. It was a Prime Day deal.
that was your two. We
That was my two.
matched
So
on two.
We both doubled up on two.
So you're
All I'm left with is one.
I'm with my
Tim's
one.
number two.
Wait,
Or no,
you're-
so we're all.
You did your number one.
That
You
is my
haven't-
number one. Sorry, all I have is two.
So
left.
go with your number
So
two.
go with your number two.
Oh,
Oh, no. I should
you-
go. No, that was my number two.
number two. Yeah,
it's
so
your
I'll
number
go.
two.
I'll go number two.
Well, not right in front of us.
No.
I mean, you could.
And I'm also a little scared now because I pegged Ocean's 11 as Carrie's number one, and I'm a little afraid of where she's going to go to for her number one. But before we get there, I'm going with, this meets all my criteria. I feel confident about this.
You don't sound confident. You don't sound
it's just not as
confident.
confident as Ocean's. So we just got off the high of Ocean's 11.
Felt so
11
good.
is the platonic ideal of a heist film.
It really
Yes.
is. This one it happened before, a little earlier, 5 years earlier, in fact. 1996's Mission Impossible.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't
What are
think
they
it's
stealing?
primarily a
The
heist
knock
film,
list.
but it is comfortably within the penumbra.
What's a knock list? Is it like some meat? I don't even know.
It's
The
the
knockwurst?
MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's the MacGuffin. It's the
the
list
MacGuffin.
of individuals who are all these secret agents.
Who even cares about
It's
that?
one of the earlier examples of we have to stop them from revealing the name of every spy.
Does anyone really care about that,
No
though?
one ever cares about that.
I didn't think so.
It
no.
makes it makes you feel like it's a big deal.
But
in the
over
movie.
Ocean's 11.
No, it's not over.
No, it's
my
his number two.
My
His
number
You're
two.
right.
one
That
was
was a better
Ocean's 11.
choice. That was a better good
And
job,
it's the
Rob.
introduction
Yeah.
of directed by Brian De Palma, who shot Carrie and Scarface. That'd be a cool title for a movie. Starring Tom Cruise, Jon Voight, Emmanuel Bert, Ving Rhames, and Jean Reno. I said
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno pops into my head all the time.
Yeah.
American agent under false suspicion of disloyalty must discover and expose the real spy without the help of his organization. So the whole movie after
Because he's been disavowed.
he's been disavowed.
Yeah.
And he has to put this ragtag group together.
Of course.
And pull off Mission Impossible heist of breaking into the CIA. And you remember the scene, him coming down
Sure.
over the
I just didn't care.
over
No.
the motion sensitive floors and
Espionage. I didn't care.
it's espionage too,
Yeah.
but it's a heist movie at the heart of what it is.
I will say this. It is not nearly my favorite Mission Impossible movie, and I do honestly think that you could make an argument that Ghost Protocol is a better heist movie as well.
You feel like that's heisty?
I feel like the scene where they have the like magic wall that makes them disappear is alone enough to make Ghost Protocol
Yeah.
more heisty. Although the scene where he's hanging from the wire is like pure heist cinema.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And there's something about being first there to do it really captures me, and it got me at a young age. I was 14 years old at the time too, so this movie captured my
list.
heart. It's
Yeah.
it's going to be on someone's list.
It's not.
But that's my number 2.
But do you want to know which one is?
What should have been?
If you had to imagine in your mind, what is the most valuable thing that you could steal, what would it be?
The cup of Christ care.
It is!
See, I
Are
knew
you
it. I knew
shitting
it.
It's
me?
the cup that caught the blood of Jesus Christ.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. How could there be anything possibly more
I
valuable
know
than
my
that?
wife. I know my wife.
How did you know?
I just know that you would.
Oh, I like, you know what? My 40% annoyance rate just went to like, was it 40% annoyance or 40%?
It was 40%.
50. Now, or wait, you're at
35.
30%. 35% annoyance. Oh, how did you know?
It's nice that you feel like warmer towards me, and I feel cooler. So we're having the reverse effect.
I feel like I'm tearing up a little bit. So it's 1989's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. How could you not pick the most important thing in the entire world?
Because they're not stealing it. They are archaeologists.
They're not. They're definitely stealing it. They're definitely going out there to take the Holy Grail.
Where are they stealing it from?
From that
The guy, the old
dude.
man that's
Joseph
Richard-
Arimathea.
Richard-
you have chosen.
Attenborough?
You
No, I
have
don't know.
chosen
What was his name?
poorly. You have chosen poorly.
But they're not. He's not stealing it. But he doesn't
He's
steal it.
absolutely
No,
stealing
there's no
it.
stealing.
Well, the
of
Nazis
it.
were going to steal it.
We've got it. We've got it.
No.
We've got the Grail.
So
and
he's
we're gonna
not
walk
there to
away.
steal it. He's there to pass the. If you pass the obstacles and you pick the right cup, you get it free and clear. You're not stealing. You're not.
Yeah,
heisting
but they
anything.
don't pass the obstacle, so Elsa takes the thing.
But Indiana does pass all 3 obstacles. Elsa takes the thing.
Who's
which gets me back
where's
to
the heist?
The Nazis are the heisters, but also
Sure. So there's definitely a heist in there. So the Nazis are the heisters, and Indiana passes the test for sure. But you cannot pass. I mean, the thing wouldn't have crumbled down if they weren't supposed to leave with the.
Well, they weren't supposed to
the
leave.
Grail.
That's the thing. When he
Don't cross
when he
the
takes
line.
the cup, he says, "Don't pass the seal."
Yeah. So where's that heist?
But they
Yeah.
they do not succeed.
You don't have to succeed
don't have to
in a heist.
succeed.
I'll give
yeah.
you credit that your first 4 movies were actually within decent parameters.
No, this one's there too.
And so I'll give
I
you a
mean,
pass.
to be fair, you did just spout off Mission Impossible, which is
it's a heist movie.
it's more of a heist movie than Cold Crusade.
No,
This is a very exciting choice. I feel very
exciting. Good or
exciting in that
different?
I like surprises. And I don't think my number 1 will be a surprise. So the fact that yours makes me feel very warm and fuzzy.
I'm glad it does, and this is why I think everyone will agree that I've won tonight. And what is your number 1?
My number 1, I feel like could only be where we end up. It is the heist movie of heist movies. It has the most famous specific heist scene ever filmed. It is a 30-minute long sequence with not a solitary word of dialogue as we watch in real time every detail of a theft take place. Film is from 1955. It is called Rififi, or in French, Du Rififi chez les hommes. Directed by Jules Dassin, who is an American expatriate. He was on the blacklist, so he ended up in France, made a few really, really great genre films while he was out there. This is probably his all-time masterpiece. Like, he's made some really good films noir, but this is like the film. So it is about, as are so many films, a group of career criminals led by Jean Servet as Tony Le Stéphanois, who come up with a perfect scheme to steal, I forget what quantity of jewels, I think it's jewels, but petty jealousies and distrust get in the way and they screw things up. So the film has this heist sequence in the middle. And, you know, the plot that happens before the heist and the plot that happens after the heist, pretty boilerplate. Like, we've talked about a lot of these things. There's the sort of killing-esque, and the killing was only the year later, the psychological element, and I think The Killing does it better. There's the planning element. I think Ocean's 11 does it better. But the actual execution of the heist has never been topped, and probably never will be topped. This just amazingly tense. It's like, it's 30 minutes and you can't breathe. Like, this entire sequence, you're just so concerned because it's almost completely silent. So every time that, like, a wrench gets dropped, like, you're just like, holy shit, what just happened? Are the cops going to come? And it's that for 30 fucking
Sure.
minutes. And it's so good.
Would it have been improved if it was a artifact of history and time that was probably the most valuable piece of history ever made?
Here's my question. Why isn't Raiders a heist movie?
Because I like the third one better.
Okay.
That's why.
That is honest, and I admire that. It would have raised the stakes.
Yeah.
It would have raised the stakes.
I think it would have.
It would not have made the heist scene any better because the heist scene's already really good. Really goddamn good.
There were a lot of other people on the site that also said Rafifi.
I feel it's in my blind spot.
Yeah.
So I have Killing and Rafifi now on my list of must-watch.
Damn right you do.
Yeah.
And also Last Crusade to see if you can suss out what about
if you haven't seen it, if you haven't, go see it.
Well, every week we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Here are your top 5 picks. Tied for 5th, Inception and Thief.
Oh, yeah, Inception.
I like Inception. It would have made my list, but the more I thought about it, they're not heisting anything. They're
Dreams.
implanting. No, they're putting.
they're planting.
I think
planting.
it is within the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thief is a movie I thought about, but I
No
feel
ensemble?
like
Is there an ensemble?
there's no ensemble.
Okay.
And that to me, I feel like it has to have at least 2 people.
Depends on the criteria.
Standing Alone at 4th, movie that we just saw, Care. The Sting. What'd you think about The Sting, Care?
Robert Redford.
Yeah, Paul Newman.
Paul
for me.
Newman.
Yeah. I liked it. I actually thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was good.
Not good enough to make my
It's a
list.
real damn good movie.
Yeah.
Tied for 3rd, we had The Killing and Die Hard.
Okay.
That is an interesting. It is. To me, it falls down on the criterion that I need the heisters to be the protagonists.
Same
and
here.
Villains.
Same here. I
Totally-
love
It
Die
is
Hard.
a good plot.
Yes.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, holy crap.
You have failed your wife.
I mean, I know Bruce Willis is in it.
Oh, man. That's not enough.
No.
There's so many lines.
Okay.
So many lines.
I probably use the lines, but I've never seen them.
Have you ever said on a Merry Christmas morning, "Now I've got a machine gun"? Ho ho ho.
Yeah, I've said that.
Good.
Tied for number 2, Reservoir Dogs and Rafifi as well.
Oh, Rafifi.
And I know
Reservoir
we've
Dogs.
mentioned Reservoir Dogs earlier in the show.
good
And
choice.
number 1, clear front runner,
Is it Ocean's 11?
Ocean's
Ocean's
11,
11.
which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Our winner this week, Salim Garami. I think he's won before, so nice job on the second win there. You mentioned the French name for his pick was Fafrifi?
Rafifi.
Duty Fifi chez les hommes.
Okay, well, he educated us too, and I wasn't going to try to pronounce it, but he said that's French for Rafifi. Salim, shoot us an email at contact@alternating.com for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free movie like Salim, be on the lookout for a spoiler alert or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, thanks everybody for tuning in. Social media, go to our social media, Facebook page, like it, Twitter, we're tweeting all the time. Check out alternating.com for all of our reviews, podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our podcasts on iTunes or Google, and tune in for our next show. We're just in time for our return, Care, from our journey into nature. We're looking at our top 5 camping movies. We're going out to a 1-week camping trip with our girls to Niagara Falls.
Here we go.
right.
Yeah, shouldn't have any issues with that.
I
Wait, so
doubt it.
camping like sleeping out in the woods? Because I thought it was gay men like playing up theatricality.
It's a
Well,
little bit of
we
both.
might have some rest stops.
All right.
If that answers
Sounds
your
good.
question.
Oh my gosh.
We will catch you then.